Greetings, this is Jeff from Enjoy Life Traveling. Today I'm going to talk about all the different things you can do in Cozumel. I have been there well over a dozen times, and since I've been doing YouTube, I've really tried to mix it up and do different things so I could share different experiences, because really everything is different depending on who you are, and I've seen so many examples. So I'm going to cover a few of the things. I'm going to cover definitely all the different beach options, beach clubs, but I'm also going to cover a couple other things like the ruins. So stay tuned. Here we go. So let me actually just start with the ruins. So when you're thinking about going to Cozumel, you got a plan there and you're wanting to see ruins. If you go to Cozumel and you want to take the trip to go to Chichen Itza, which is probably the most historic site for the Mayan ruins, I mean, awesome, yes, but here's what you're going to need to know. One is you have to take a ferry from Cozumel to Playa del Carmen and then drive, and then you're gonna that's like a 4 hour deal. You're gonna spend an hour at the ruins, and then you're gonna come back, and you're gonna have to again take that ferry. Now I bring that up because while if say you get this on the ship, and the ferries, all that's included, you need to understand that one is that if there's any sort of bad weather, they're going to cancel this, because when you go across the that ferry, that can be rocky. A lot of people get sick even on a decent day, just going across to Playa del Carmen and coming back. So it is not uncommon for people to get sick, motion sickness, because of the way that boat's going to be moving on you. So that's something to think about. But also number two, now again, book through the ship. They'll wait for you if something happens. But there's been plenty of cases to where, there's been plenty of cases to where the vehicle they're using, breaks down, something happens, and they're not able to get back to the ship on time. So in that case, if you're going through Royal, you're going to be covered as far as at least making sure you make it home. The ship will wait for you, and if something happens to where they can't wait, they're going to be able to make the arrangements for you to get home safely, even if it's from Cozumel. If you do it as a third party, now you really got some risk. You better hope you're with somebody on the ship, because you have at least a chance of them waiting for you. If you're not, it's a problem. And again, this is something that with 4 hours one way, 4 hours, 8 hours of travel time, you are taking some risk. And I am someone who I would prefer to not do things as far as ship excursions. So understand that. I'm talking about, to me, a lot of times it's a waste of money. You're paying extra when these things can be purchased either direct through the companies or maybe even as a third-party site like a Viator or something like that. Keep that in mind. So if you're wanting to see ruins and you don't want to take that kind of risk, one is that there is, and certainly not one of the major ones, but there is ruins in Cozumel. And if you're also going to Costa Maya, that might be the place that you want to go to see the ruins. So you got I think it's called the Chichobin ruins there. And that's something, it's about an hour drive, hour there and an hour back. But the ship's actually in the port, and it doesn't have a history of running into problems. Plus, again, if you're wanting beach time, Cozumel's awesome. And Costa Maya isn't as nice. They get a lot of sargassum. So that, the seaweed, and it can smell sometimes pretty bad. The seaweed just flows like literally right into there. And I'm sure you'll see plenty of horror stories about it. Not that there's not some nice places. I do have some videos on that. But again, if you're going to do a beach day and a ruins day, I would tell you you're probably going to want to do that in Costa Maya if that's something you need to do. So I say Costa Maya versus the one in Cozumel because it's just not one of the bigger ruin sites. It's nothing wrong with it, but I'm saying it's not the same. So do what you want with that information. I just want to make sure you knew it. So another thing, again, and I kind of bring this up as an option before I get to the beaches in Cozumel, is that particularly if you've been to Cozumel a lot, there is a ferry that you can pay for to go across and then come back. So you can visit Playa del Carmen if you've really done, everything in Mexico. And it's not outrageous, but again, you just want to watch the weather, because if you don't, and there's any sort of a problem, you want to get your butt back on that ferry, because again, that ferry is not going to sail if it's dangerous for them. So keep an eye on the weather. Don't just assume. So when I think of Cozumel, again, for me, I'm thinking beach time. I want I want beaches. Now I realize some of you are also going to be thinking about food, and I'll touch on that a bit. But I definitely want to talk about the beaches. And I'm going to do that right here. So again, I have been to so many of them, and I'm going to cover them here. And they're not all the same. And the reason I wanted to make this video is because, I see the Facebook posts, and the Facebook posts will say that, this place is the absolute best, or that place is the absolute best. I had an incredible time. And somebody else will post that it was horrible. Well, that's because the circumstances are different. Well, everybody's recommending it to people, and they don't know their circumstances, because the people that post that just says, what's the best place to go in Cozumel? Well, what's your circumstances? Are you traveling alone? Are you looking for something romantic with a partner? Do you got family and you're trying to do kid things? Do you got some teenagers and you're looking for some fun things for them to do? Are you afraid to get into a taxi cab, and drive? Because that's, if you're not doing one of the excursions, you're taking a taxi. Not that there's a problem. That's what I do most of the time. But there are circumstances. And so I wanted to cover the things you're going to need to know depending on your circumstances so you get the best out of your vacation. So let's start with families. Now, again, Cozumel is always changing, and there's some other things that are in the works. So there was a time when if someone said, where you want to take, where should I take kids? I just said, Playa Mia. Well, Playa Mia is gone. So Playa Mia turned into Playa Isla, and that's only temporary because that's going to turn into that Royal Beach Club that they're going to do in Cozumel. And so it's going to be they've already taken out a lot of the kids stuff that was already at Playa Mia. So you can kind of just take that one out, so you're not searching for something that's just not there. However, if you're looking for something with kids, I would tell you to probably look into like Chonkanab Adventure Park. So they've got some things, different shows to see, and it's a little more kid-friendly in that regard. It's also, if you're a snorkeler, it's got a fantastic reputation as far as the snorkeling that's available near where that beach is at. So that's something to also keep in mind if you're snorkeling. And I'll try to touch on each one a little bit as I go over them. But if you're snorkeling, that's going to be the best place that I've ever heard of in Cozumel. And I've been to a few. So keep that in mind. The other one, if you got kids, if you got older kids, you might consider going to Paradise Beach. Paradise Beach has a lot of those floaty things in the water there for the teenagers to bounce on, and adults too. I mean, there are plenty. If that's your thing, that would be something to consider. But when you're looking at a place like Mr. Sancho's, they have the blow-up things, but again, it's a little different vibe. So if you've watched some of the other ones, the other YouTubers out there, you can see some of them will love it and some of them will hate it. And the reason is because Mr. Sancho's is a party place. They have some other options, don't get me wrong, but that's primarily known for its partying. So if, at 11, 12 o'clock when the music starts thumping, and if you're in, Mexico, you're either expecting, if you're wanting that experience, you're looking for that Mexican experience, you might be looking for Hispanic music. You might be looking for Caribbean music or a mix of that. And you're not going to have that. You're going to have more of a modern pop, kind of almost like a nightclub kind of a feel. And again, nothing wrong with that if that's what you're looking for. But I remember watching the YouTube channel All Things Wagner. And the guy had such a terrible time because they didn't really know. And so that music started, and they ended up just leaving early and cutting that short, which is unfortunate. So again, everything is different for different people there. Pools, they got nice pools there. But again, mostly going to be more of a party vibe. Now, that said, any of these places I'm going to talk to you about is somewhat dependent on ships and how many are there. So there's, the different cruise mappers, all those things that'll tell you how many ships are in port the day you're there. And that's important information to know, because if there's a ton of ships, a place like Mr. Sancho's is really going to be pushing that party vibe harder than if there's two ships, and it's going to feel a whole lot more laid back. And most of these places are not going to bring in all the help to cover their big beaches when there's only going to be one or two ships in port. If you're going in the winter, you should expect more ships in port. If you're going in the summer, you're going to probably have less. So keep that in mind, but you still need to check. Things can change. So as Mr. Sancho's, while I'm on that one there, I'm going to say they do have places to buy stuff. They do have things you can rent and excursions to do all the different snorkeling and such. It is not considered, again, as big of a snorkel spot as Chonkanab Beach, as Chonkanab Adventure Park. But again, any of the places in Cozumel, you're going to generally find clear water at the very least. But Chonkanab's known for having more coral and more fish, obviously, because of that. If you're looking for shopping, it's going to have that. And I'm going to go back to Paradise Beach real quick. If you're looking for a pool, a big pool with great service, Paradise Beach is it. It's massive. Their service is fantastic. It's one of the few places to where, if you're drinking beer, they'll actually bring you more than one. If you've got their all inclusive, they'll bring you more than one, and have that on ice. So that's really helpful. Because it helps them not have to run out, and if they know you're drinking and you're going to go through some beer, they'll just bring it, and it just makes sense from every standpoint. And they don't bring like a bucket of them; they'll bring like 2 or 3, so you actually have time to drink them before the ice just turns to water. They do a great job there. Food's good as well, and again, the service, it is a little rockier. I've had some people complain about that I've heard. I didn't necessarily have a problem with it, but it definitely isn't as sandy and beautiful as some of the other places. And so if you're looking for some beautiful spots, that is coming. So what if you're looking for an adults-only experience? Well, there's really, that I know of, there's one, and that would be Del Mar Latina Beach Club. So, and the other thing about that, what I like, is that I brought up, the taxi. If you don't want to do taxi rides, that you don't have to. If you're at International Pier, you won't even need to have a taxi ride because it is very close. It is maybe once you get out of, it'll take you probably longer to get out of port than it will to when you go left, and just to make that walk. So it's not bad at all. It's probably the least expensive all-inclusive around. It's small. The pluses are going to be, well, I'll tell you what, I'll start with the negative, I'll end on the plus. The negatives is that, it's a smaller place. It's not an actual beach. It's got that rock wall, but I mean, still you're looking out and you can see the ships very easily because, again, you're right there. There's ocean access, so you can do some snorkeling there. The water's clear. It is generally not rough because, again, you're facing basically Playa del Carmen, so the tides don't hit the same as they do as if you're on the mainland and the water's coming directly at you there. The food's good. The service there is absolutely incredible. Last time I was there, and I think it's the same, it was $45 for that all-inclusive. The other thing is that it is very near that street that runs along the waterfront there. So it can be maybe a touch noisier, but not, to me, in my opinion, not crazy. But again, since I'm putting this video out there, I want you to know what's out there. What I love about this place also is that it's got a heated pool for when, if the weather's a little bit cooler out. And I mean, that's huge because a lot of places don't. And if you get a day that it's, in the, I don't know, say upper 70s, which might be a little cool for some people, that heated pool is fantastic. It feels great. It's an infinity pool. It's small, but again, they max out at 40 people. That's all they let in, and I've never seen it maxed out or even close to it. I think probably 25 is the most I've seen. So this is a place you got really a lot of room, relatively speaking, because there's just not a lot of people allowed in. So that would be something that, again, if you're looking for an adults only, or if you're looking for something that is within walking distance, that would be one you're going to want to consider. And obviously, again, with the weather, with the pool, usually you do not need to reserve that in advance, but you can contact them through their website and make your reservation there. But again, if you check the ships in town, there's a good chance that if they're not full, that this is a place that you're going to be able to go to pretty easy. So I'm going to stay on the idea of no kids, and I'm going to slightly move to low kids. And this will also qualify as probably one of the better beaches around, and that's going to be Nachicacom. Now, Nachicacom has good service. It's a very nice beach. It was my favorite beach until the last place I'm going to tell you about here, but it's still a fantastic spot. You're not going to go wrong. And again, they have an area there where you got the water that's heated, and they got the pool, and it's one of those where it has a swim up bar. Now, flipping back to Del Mar Latina, it doesn't have a swim up bar, but those servers are all over you. I mean, they're looking around. You raise your hand, they're going to bring you what you need. So that is not an issue. But if you want that experience, they're going to have that right there. The view's beautiful. They've got an area that is well covered in case you do get a little bit of rain. So I think that that's very helpful. And it's actually owned by the same people that own Del Mar Latina. So a lot of the same, if you liked one, you're probably going to like the other, if you get my meaning as far as how they treat their guests. So I'm going to flip back to another options. Well, some options if you are averse to taking a taxi ride. Because again, I know that some people, particularly if it's your first time, you're nervous. You hear some stories, whether they're true or they're false, that can have you nervous about getting into a cab. And sometimes there's a little something to that. Most of the time it's pretty safe, but there's a few things. But anyway, if you're at International Pier, and there are 3 piers in the area. So International Pier is right next to the pier to where Disney and Carnival dock. Well, I shouldn't say. Actually, Disney can also do it at Punta Lagusta. But anyway, the one where Carnival is going to be docking at, that one's also going to be within walking distance of the places that I'm telling you here. That would include Del Mar Latina. Not that Punta Lagusta isn't, but it's a longer walk. I mean, you'd have to have you want to get your walk in there, because it's going to probably take you, 45 minutes to an hour to make that walk at a normal pace. So to me anyway, it's a bit much. Somebody else will tell you that it didn't take them near that long, but it depends on your pace. So again, using that as your marker, I would tell you that if you can't do anything else, there's another place that's easy walking distance, even a little bit closer than Del Mar Latina. It's an older hotel called El Cid. And at that hotel, again, they've got your pool and the hot tub. It's a rock wall and sand. There is an entrance there for ocean access to walk in. It's, again, very close to where the ships are. You couldn't get much closer. And the service was decent when I was there. I didn't eat the food, but I heard some good things about the food, so I only want to tell you factual stuff that I know. But one of the other pluses about here is that a lot of these places, they're all inclusive. And I think that one, when I was there, was about $70 or so for the all inclusive. That's one of the few places that you don't have to. You don't have to do the all inclusive. So when you're doing that one there, you can just go there and just have your table and chairs, or your lounge room chairs, and then purchase a la carte if you're going to do any. And it's like $25. So not crazy at all. And then the other thing is, if you're just wanting to go there and get a bite to eat, not have a chair, maybe just use the tables I got there and pop in the pool. It's free to get in. So I've done that. I walk in there, grab a beer, enjoy, the ambiance. And, well, obviously I did some videos there, because all the places I'm telling you I've been to, and I've shot some video. The service was decent. They had plenty of people, but they didn't. I'm not trying to badmouth them, but they spent a lot of time when I was there talking amongst themselves rather than necessarily looking to take care of the people. That could be an isolated incident, so I'm not trying to badmouth again at all. It was a nice place from what I could see. I say nice. The hotel, I mean, this is an older place, so keep that in mind. And so the hotel, again, lobby looked fine. I don't know what those rooms look like. And I don't say that because I'm trying to say it's bad. I'm just saying, I don't know. But again, that's going to be a good option if you're wanting to walk. Now, if you are at the Punta Lagusta, which is a little farther north, there are some places that are within walking distance that you can consider. And I haven't been to all of them, but I've been to a couple, and I wanted to share them. And one of those is called the No Name Bar. And the No Name Bar, you're also going to see that there are plenty of people from the cruise ship that are going to go to this place. It's not a huge place. The prices are fairly reasonable. It's got ocean access. It's got a nice pool with a swim up bar. Service was pretty good. Food's very good. I had jalapeno poppers, and they're like fresh. They're not those frozen, things. They're actually making them fresh, and they were very good. the beers were cold, and you really can't ask for much more than that. And for the cruise workers, they actually get a discount by going there at 15%. So pretty good deal for them. And because of that, again, I have no problems with this place at all. I would definitely, one of the places I would want to recommend if you're not wanting to get into a taxi, but you want to have an experience there. And then next, I would say not right next to it, but very close to it, very, very close to it, is a place called Genie's. And Genie's is also a place where you will see uh, some of the crew, but it doesn't have a pool. But it does have ocean access. It's got, for your food. It's got drinks that are cold. Service when I was there was good, and it was probably the least crowded place that I had been to. And I think there was like 4 ships. I mean, there was only a handful of people there. So this might be a place, again, if you're looking for a little bit of quiet, it might work for you, because even though it was fairly close to the road, with the buildings the way they were, I didn't really notice it at all. Both of these places I just mentioned, they're free to get in. You don't have to pay anything. You're just buying what, as you go. Another place I'm going to bring up, and it's a place I've been, and I did some video, but I don't know that I've released it yet, is the Money Bar. Now, the Money Bar is going to be closer to the Carnival cruise port, and again, not that much farther from the International Pier, where a lot of the Royal ships dock. It's still a place you're going to want to take a taxi to. It was fine. Again, ocean access. It had, there was, plenty of places to get wet, so to speak. It had a tiny version of a pharmacy there for if you're looking for those types of things. And there were other places along that area that you could duck into. I didn't go into those. I kind of wish I would have, because I probably had the time. But there's other options right there, so you can kind of do your own little sort of a bar hop right there, and be in good shape. My overall impressions was it seemed, a nice place, seemed well kept. The server did a good job of taking care of me. Trying to remember if I ate there. I don't think I did. But I remember that there was some people next to me, and I'd ask them about the food. I usually do. If I'm not eating, I'm going to ask somebody what the food's like. And they seemed to be enjoying the food. They said, yeah, it was good. But if you're looking for some options that's, not typical, again, these aren't things you're going to find on the cruise ship as far as places to go, that you can get an excursion to. That's kind of rare for that. But it's changing. There's some changing of the guards happening. And so there are some places that are starting to come up as cruise ship places. One of them, and this is, in my opinion, arguably the most beautiful beach I've been to. I think I can say that with some clarity. And there's a video about that. The place is developing, so it is still under construction. Well, as of when I was there last, I think I'm going to go back there in January, because I want to kind of get an update. Because when I was there, again, you couldn't have asked for a more beautiful beach setup. I can't even imagine. It was gorgeous. The service was good. Trying to remember, I don't think I ate there, nor did I. No, I take that back. I did eat there, because it was raining like cats and dogs when I got there, and they had a buffet kind of a thing, which was okay. It wasn't great, but it was okay. This was, again, something you can get either through them, or a third party, or through the ship, and you're generally going to spend a little bit more through the ship, but you don't have to worry about the ship taking off on you if something happens. Again, you're in Cozumel. You're not leaving the island. Probably not an issue, but it is probably the farthest one south. Not probably. It is the farthest beach south that you can go to, of all those chains that you can go past. So again, it's a farther trip, and then to get back in there, it's more secluded by far. So even once you get there, if you did through the ship, it'll be their own tram, or if you take a taxi, you still got to take a tram back into the place, and it's a huge place. And so depending on where you're going to go, there's going to be some walking to do, but the beach is absolutely gorgeous. It is so new. The bathrooms are easily going to be the cleanest that you're going to see in Cozumel. Can't even imagine anything being better as far as the bathrooms and the cleanliness that they had. They got rum tasting. They have the excursions for trying to go do the snorkeling and all the other things that you would expect that are there. They're developing. They do not have a pool as of when I was there, nor did they have like a kids park kind of a thing, but it was under construction. So they're supposed to be getting a pool. They're supposed to be getting like the water slides. And that's kind of what I'm hoping to see when I go there in January, is how far that's developed. Because water slides, I don't care about water slides. I don't want anything, most of the time, I don't want anything to do with water slides. Not that I'm afraid of them, but I would do it under certain circumstances. What I'm wondering is once that's put in, is will it take away any of the serenity that this place had? Is it, how much louder will it make that experience? Because that's a legit question. And then you have it, the place has a stage, so I know that they do some music. I don't know what kind of music, because they weren't playing, they didn't have any bands up there when I was there, and it was for good reason. It was kind of rainy when I was there, but still, it was very impressive. And really, most of the places that you're going to find, most of them are going to be right about $70. And again, that could be raising. That was probably last year's prices, but it stayed that way for a couple of years. I can't imagine it go up much more. But there are a couple other places I'm looking forward to showing you that I will get to, that are becoming cruise options, and so I'll be booking those so I can put videos out there for you as well. All the places that I've told you are places that I've been to and that there are videos out for, because there's so much more to look at when it comes to what that beach is, that experience is, and what you're looking for. And even if I forgot something, you might see it in the video and go, oh gosh, yeah. Take the time to watch them. I would tell you again, look at your circumstances. You don't have to watch every video, but if you know that you've got, a family, or you know that you're looking for adults only, or you're looking for this, that, and the other thing, just narrow it down to the couple places that you're considering, and then watch those videos. And watch mine. Please leave a comment, do the thumbs up, obviously, but also get some other opinions from some other people that are out there, because I think you're going to learn something by looking at more than one. So if you narrowed it down to two, and then you said, okay, I think I'm going to do that one, watch another video on it from someone else and get their perspective, and then you can kind of come back and make a decision if you want to look at the other one better. So I'm going to switch subjects a little bit and talk about some other things Cozumel. So when you get to Cozumel and the cruise ports, there's a couple things you're going to need to know. One is if you're going through International Pier or the Carnival Cruise, that is a port that's basically been made up for tourists. And you will have some aggressiveness as far as people trying to get you to look at their product. That's how they make a living. So I don't necessarily begrudge them, but some people it can be a bit much. It's generally easy to get through, and I'm really starting this because I wanted to get to Punta Lagusta. Punta Lagusta is the old cruise port. And so when you get off there, you kind of go through a little bit of a mall kind of a situation. There's a movie theater there. But it's nice. I've found some good deals. If you're looking for a cheap souvenir, if you find the right place, you have to go a little bit farther down, but if you get the right place here, you can get a shot glass for Cozumel for $1, literally. Or a magnet for $1. Some other place is going to cost more, but if you look, there's, I think, 2 places that they're pretty cheap that I found. But there is a catch to that, and that is that it's not the easiest to get around if you have mobility issues, because you got to go. There is an elevator, but it's not big, because it's old place, and so there may be a little bit of a wait. There's an escalator. Sometimes that escalator is broken going up. Often the one going down is broken. I have hope that maybe that'll change. But anyway, right now, the escalator system is iffy. And sometimes it's turned off to where you're walking down. So again, for mobility issues, that can be a question. And then also, once you get, take that elevator up, you take it across and you're on the top part of the mall. Well, now you got to get down, and you have to go all the way. If you're walking, you got to go all the way to the end and then take those stairs down. There's an escalator, again, that's right there when you make the turn, but it's always off and broken. And I think that's intentional, so you have to walk past the vendors to make some purchases. I feel like that's probably an intentional thing there. I don't know where the elevators are at. I'm sure they're there, but I couldn't tell you where they're at. So you are going to need to do a little bit of searching to just find the elevator so you can go back down. And then as far as getting around there, The streets are a little old, are older. It's an older area. You should probably get around it, maybe a little bumpier, because again, I've walked through here. But I can see that it could be an issue if, again, you have some mobility issues. But again, if you have a wheelchair, there would be some or a walker. Those places I mentioned, like No Name Bar and Genie's, you should be able to get in there and be able to have some access to what they have to offer. So the other thing I want to talk a little bit about, so you know Cozumel well, is the taxi situation, as I brought up. So generally speaking, there's not a huge problem with taxis. Safety is not one that I would be overly concerned about um, at all for me. Um, if you are getting out of the International Pier or Carnival Pier, there's going to be a sign that's going to tell you how much it is to get from point A to point B, depending on how many people are in your party. So you know. But when you're coming back, those signs aren't there as to how much it is, but you may know it. So I would tell you to take a picture of that, and then when you're coming back, you want to verify with the taxi driver, this is this dollar amount to get us back, correct? And if he says no, and you say, no, I pictured, here's what I paid for it. So unless you've added people to your party trying to share the ride, it shouldn't change. So I did see that happen, and it was one of the few times where I started kind of losing my cookies a little bit with a guy, and he backed off quick because he knew he tripped my trigger, I guess. So again, we're talking about a few dollars, but you need to know. If you're at Punta Lagusta, I didn't see a sign there. I'm not saying there isn't one there, but I haven't seen a sign there. And it's farther up. It's farther, up a ways there. So I know it's going to be more. And I remember it being, I think they wanted to charge me 20, and I said no. And so for 15, the guy took me to Money Bar. He actually stayed there and then took me back. So I didn't have to worry about getting a ride back. And I ended up tipping him $5 just for the service. And he talked and was kind of narrating it. As far as I was concerned, it was an absolute deal. Another thing I'm looking forward to doing down the road is I want to go across to the other side of Cozumel there and get those places. And I'm going to ask for your help a little bit on this too. So I'm hoping some of you guys have stayed around and watched the whole video, because again, when I do this, there is something out there that I was told about called, I think it was the Cozumel Bar Hop. And from the best I could tell, they had, I think it was like a stop on the normal touristy side of Cozumel, and then took you across the island, and then, up and down. I think there was 4 bars there, and you could go there and eat and drink, and then, potentially revisit if you come back. And so that's what I was looking to do on one of these trips, is I want to book that. However, all I could see was, again, it was brought up to someone online on one of the chats. I found the thing online. Doesn't always mean that's a legit site. So I just thought I would ask if anybody else has done that island hop or bar hop, Cozumel bar hop, and what your experience is. Because if it was good, if everything sounds legit, I'll give it a go, and then I will share with you guys not only that excursion, but each one of the places, because you can just as easily get a taxi and take it over there and just enjoy the place that looks the best for you. So you don't have to go to all 3 places. You might not want to bar hop. You might want to enjoy some beach time. So I'm looking forward to bringing that one to you. So I think I'll end this on one quick note in telling you that when you're in Cozumel in International Pier, I believe it's the same with the Carnival one, is that particularly in the mornings, there'll be like a drug sniffing, or I don't even think it's a drug sniffing dog. I think it's a dog just looking for like fruits and vegetables, because they're worried about the crops. That will be checking your bags. They'll have you hold it down and walk through. So keep that in mind. It is inconsistent, but it does happen. So as far as needing your driver's license, every time I've been there, I haven't not needed my driver's license. And I would definitely tell you to not bring your passport. I would take a picture of the passport, or if you got your ID with you, really that's going to be enough. That, along with your CPass card to get back on the ship, you're going to be fine. And again, they haven't checked any of that in the time that I've been there. At International Pier, I did flash them the card. I flashed them the card one time and go, "Oh yeah, come on in." I think I could have had a card from 2 years, and they would have let me in. They're just the color blue, royal, whatever. So not the tightest security. They will not be running your things through a scanner or anything like that. When I've been there, I've never seen that like they do in some ports, like, I believe it was Jamaica, that they check your bags to run stuff through. Not a problem in Cozumel. It's funny. I did this video because thought I'd put a short video out, and now I'm looking at the timer on this thing as I'm recording it. I don't know what it'll end up being, but right now it's about 40 minutes. I'm like, oh, I missed my goal. So I'll end it here then. If you found this helpful, informative, please hit the like button, subscribe, share these things with your friends, and don't forget to look at those other videos I've got out there that'll give you more on the subjects, the different places. Because if you're going to look, particularly if you're looking for a beach, this is a place to go. If you've got multiple stops, please make sure that if you're wanting a beach day, that you choose Cozumel, because it's pretty spectacular. So again, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.